2 weeks ago, I made a video previewing the Seahawks draft and talking about what I expected them to do in the draft. And so it's only fitting that I also make a video reviewing what they actually did. As I said in my last video, I'm not super knowledgeable about draft prospects, but here's a screenshot of the position groups I expected the Seahawks to target and where. I didn't factor in trades, of course, because that would be impossible to predict. So let's see how close I got. And I apologize in advance for all the names I'm about to butcher. I was right on the money going offensive line on our first round pick, which the Seahawks wound up using to select guard Gray Zabel. And I'm very happy with this pick. The Seahawks' interior offensive line has been a disaster for as long as I can really remember. So I'm really excited to see if he can at least fix some of our woes. After selecting Gray Zabel, one of our second round picks and one of our third round picks were traded to the Titans for pick 35, which the Seahawks used to select safety Nick Imanwori. I wouldn't say safety is our most pressing need, but I did want to add more to the safety room. And if you can get a guy like Imanwori, who I've heard people comparing favorably to Kyle Hamilton, that sounds like a pretty good choice to me. Our next pick is certainly the most puzzling one so far, with the Seahawks selecting tight end Elijah Arroyo. When I was thinking about what position groups the Seahawks should target, tight end isn't even a position that crossed my mind. We've still got Noah Fant, and AJ Barner showed some flashes as a rookie, so I don't understand using one of our highest draft picks on a tight end. Hopefully Elijah Arroyo will be very good and make me eat my words, but I'm not a big fan of this pick. Not because I have anything against him, but because I feel like there are much more pressing needs that we could have and should have addressed with this pick. As I mentioned earlier, we traded one of our 2 third-round picks, so with our sole remaining third-round pick, the Seahawks selected quarterback Jalen Milroe. Now, I didn't predict the Seahawks to go quarterback in this draft, but I did mention that it wouldn't be surprising at all if they did. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. I wouldn't say I'm super excited about this pick. I don't really have high hopes, but I'm definitely not against this decision either. I don't think Sam Darnold is the long-term answer, but if we can get a guy like Jalen Milroe to develop behind him for a year or two, maybe we'll have another third-round pick blossom into our starting quarterback. Wouldn't that be poetic? Anyways, here's where things get very complicated. The Seahawks traded their 4th round pick, number 137, to the Patriots for a 5th and 7th round pick, picks 144 and 238 respectively. Then the Seahawks traded one of their 5th round picks, number 172, along with Sam Howell, to the Vikings to move up to pick 142 in the 5th round. And with that pick, the Seahawks drafted defensive tackle Riley Mills. Apparently our defensive coordinator Aiden Durd really wanted this guy, even though this pick is viewed as a reach by most others. So I'm hoping Durd's confidence is justified. Next, still in the 5th round, pick 144, which we acquired from New England, was traded to the Browns. And in return, we received pick 166 in the 5th round and pick 192 in the 6th round. With that 5th round pick, number 166, we selected wide receiver Torrey Horton. I'm pretty excited for this one because as far as I know, it's considered a pretty big steal, and there's a real chance that he makes an impact as a 5th round rookie. It's not that far-fetched for him to take the wide receiver 3 spot from MVS. Not to mention, this is also about in line with where I expected the Seahawks to select a wide receiver, so I was right on that front. Next, with pick 175, the Seahawks selected tight end Robbie Ousts. This is a lot different from the Elijah Arroyo pick because, number 1, we spent a 5th round pick instead of a 2nd round pick, and number 2, Ousts is supposed to be a blocking tight end from what I've heard, so I'm hoping he can help out in the run game. Next up in the 6th round, using the 192nd pick which we received from the Browns, the Seahawks selected tackle Bryce Cabledew. Personally, I expected the Seahawks to take another offensive lineman a little earlier than this, but that would be nitpicking. Hopefully Cabledew makes the roster and can be a good depth piece. With the first of 3 7th round picks, number 223, the Seahawks selected running back Damian Martinez. And I'm excited about this pick for a lot of the same reasons I'm excited for Torrey Horton. He's considered a massive steal, and unlike most 7th round picks, we're not talking about a guy that you just hope can make the roster. From what I've heard, Martinez is a guy that can really make an impact. Really the only obstacle in his way is the fact that Seattle already has 2 good running backs ahead of him. But as much as I hope they don't get hurt, Kenneth Walker is a bit injury prone, so it's very possible Martinez finds some playing time. After that, with pick 234, the Seahawks selected tackle Mason Richman. And just like Bryce Cabledew, I'm just hoping he can make the roster and be a good depth piece. And finally, with pick 238, which we acquired from the Patriots, the Seahawks selected wide receiver Ricky White III. I don't know much about Ricky White, but I've got no problems with taking a wide receiver in the 7th round. Hopefully he can be productive in some way or another. Now that I've gone over every pick, how do I feel about this draft overall? Well, just like most others are saying about Seattle's draft, I think they did a really good job. I love the Gray Zabel pick addressing our biggest hole with our 1st round pick. I'm excited to see what Nick Manwari can do. And Torrey Horton and Damian Martinez are 2 late round picks to pay attention to. Not to mention, I'm also hopeful that Jalen Milroe can become a franchise quarterback someday. There's really only 3 complaints that I have, and one of them is very nitpicky. As I just mentioned, I would have liked for the Seahawks to take a 2nd offensive lineman sooner than the 6th round, but that's not really a big deal at all. However, my 2 biggest gripes are the Seahawks taking a tight end in the 2nd round, and not addressing the linebacker position whatsoever. I already talked about why I'm not the biggest fan of the Elijah Arroyo pick. I'm sure he'll be a good player, but I just feel like there are more important positions we should have addressed. But more puzzling than that was the fact that the Seahawks had not 7, not 8, not 9, but 11 draft picks, and not one of them went to a linebacker, which is what I considered one of our biggest positions of need. Sure, we have 2 good starting linebackers, but we have absolutely nothing behind them. And if one of them goes down with injury, we are done for. So to not even take a 7th round flyer on a linebacker is puzzling to me. But overall, I'm very happy with this draft, and I'd give the Seahawks an A-. That'll be it for this video. Let me know what videos I should make next. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, remember to like and subscribe.